Right, welcome back. We are now under 10 weeks out from the first show, and today we're running through my pull session. My back over the kind of past year and a bit, I've wanted to bring up quite a lot, and this pull session has definitely helped me do that. Now it was, not gonna lie, my back was pretty bad. It wasn't the strongest point of the physique at all, let's just say that. This is what it looked like before. So as you can see, very underdeveloped, no lats, no like width whatsoever. And this is it today, or possibly yesterday. It's definitely grown over the past year anyway, and this pull session is 100% been a big sort of like driver of that progress anyway. It's a very hard hitting pull session. Now what I mean by that is basically it's a very, I think I went the wrong way. I think this road's shut up here and I forgot that it's shut. This could be an absolute nightmare. Oh no. I can't remember if this is shut or not. If it's shut, I could be absolutely gubbed here. But anyway, this pull session definitely has been a big driver of this sort of like back growth anyway. But it's a very heavy session. I've got RDLs in here. I've got 3 sets of T-bar row, 3 sets of cable upper back pull down. It's a very like heavy hitting session, and after it I usually feel pretty gubbed, like pretty done in. But overall it's a very good session, and at the end of the day you can't be scared of feeling fatigued, you can't be scared of doing the hard stuff if you actually want to grow. Like RDLs, am I the biggest fan of doing an RDL? No really, but I get a lot of erectors, a lot of hamstrings, a lot of glutes out of it. Yep, I do, so why would I not do it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you can do things that might be deemed as hard, but you can progress them consistently and they kind of start feeling better and better every week, then you need to just bite the bullet and go for it, man, which is what I done. With RDLs, my form was getting pretty sloppy towards the kind of end of the off season anyway. I was getting relatively heavy with them. When I started prep, I actually injured my back, not through RDLs, a completely different movement. Then I had to kind of reset RDLs due to that sort of back injury anyway. So after kind of resetting it, I've definitely seen a lot more sort of progression in terms of kind of actual dropping the load, creating better stimulus, then again driving the load back up again. And I'm back to near enough where I was previously, but better stimulus, better form, better control, so I really can't complain at all. This road is shut, but there's a wee redirection thing, so we're fine, we're alright, we're fine. So with today being the kind of heavy, hard hitting session, it's not ideal that I'm actually feeling quite battered today. So I have legs on Monday, pushing arms on a Tuesday, and of course pull was my kind of third session of the week. I'm feeling pretty done in, I can't lie, but it's fine because we're still going to progress. That means absolutely nothing. I can feel tired, I'm allowed to feel tired. I work hard in the gym, I work hard outside of the gym, I can feel tired, that is allowed, right? But just because you're tired doesn't mean, oh right, okay, well I probably won't progress today because I'm tired and I'm still fatigued from yesterday's session. Like, nah, you can still make progressions, right? Stop searching for excuses before you're actually even in the session. If you're the kind of person, right, that before you train, you go in sitting thinking, oh I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I'm not going to progress, I can almost guarantee you're not going to progress, right? You've already told yourself that you're not going to, and I can guarantee that will stick. It will stay in your mind and you'll go, oh well, it's fine, I knew I wasn't going to progress anyway, so that's why I haven't. Like, just get out of that mindset already. There's no point going into your session sitting thinking, right, okay, I am not going to progress. If that is your mindset, trust me, try to progress, even maintain tissue, let alone grow tissue, is going to be a very, very hard task for you to do, right? But I will run you through the pull session, or most of it anyway. There's a few things that I've ran through before and they're not the biggest sort of like movements, but again I'll give kind of wee tips here and there. Might even record them, just kind of give us a wee mini breakdown. My kind of main hitters being RDLs, T-bar for me especially, I think it's a pretty hard hitting one. Cable upper back pull down, again for me feels pretty hard hitting. I've got a single arm pull down, I've got a single arm row. They are not obviously very hard hitting, but stimulus wise absolutely through the roof, which is ideal. Then of course a wee rear delt fly in there and some abs to finish off. So those kind of three or four should I say, aren't the sort of the biggest heavy movements, but RDL, T-bar and cable upper back pull down, they take their toll on your body, I can tell you that right now. But as I said before, we'll see progression, I can guarantee it. Just under 10 weeks out from the first show and we're still going to progress, right? Mark my words. Right, pre of choice is actually Mega Pump today. Mega Pump grape flavour, not gonna lie. So up there, top two pre's for me, Mega Pump and then of course Pumpage by Train by JP. They two are definitely top two. Anyway, I realised my camera battery is very, very low, which isn't ideal. So I'm going to get in here, record everything I need to record, and hopefully it holds up. So I'll catch you at some point. Right, welcome to the DJI cam. I can move about and it follows me and all that. Pretty cool, I know. But what I thought I would do is just come home and basically just kind of run through the whole session. My camera battery was extremely low and I thought, you know what, if I try and record me speaking and run through this and record clips, it's going to die. So here I am in the room running through. I can watch it all as well, so it makes more sense. I can do it this way, you know what I mean? So anyway, with the session, it was a very good one, believe it or not, a very successful session. Our main kind of starting movement was of course the single arm lat pull down. Now it's something you see, honestly, butchered a hell of a lot. Now I mentioned it on the upper session as well with the kind of actual machine variation. A lot of folk like to do this, so they basically start here and they bring their elbow right behind their body. There's just no need, right? With obviously a lat pull down, to engage your lat, you want to lead with your elbow to start, right? So if you think about it, look at the movement. I'm coming straight up and dragging that elbow down to the hip. I'm not dragging it back behind the body. I'm dragging it down to the hip, right? So with any sort of lat movement, whether it be a single arm lat row where you're starting out in front of you rather than above you, right? The main focus is always leading with your elbow. So in this case, dragging down. A single arm row, which we'll actually see later on, I'm dragging down to the elbow, not back behind your body. The second that you start coming back and leading the elbow back here, you're getting a lot more trap and you're actually getting lat, okay? And obviously with a lat movement, we're not aiming for a lot of traps, we're aiming for, of course, lat engagement, right? So we're then straight on to barbell RDL. Now this is my heaviest hitting movement of the entire week, I'd probably say, right? So with these, of course, we're going into the set right now. Your main focus should be honestly getting hyped up for the set. Do not go into the set thinking, right, okay, it's just a light set here, nice and easy, cool, completely fine. No, at the end of the day, if you're shifting a decent amount of load, you might look at this and go, Aidan, it's not that heavy, mate, it's 160 kilos, I know. But for me, it feels pretty heavy and it feels good, right? So you want to get relatively hyped up for the set. Don't go into your heavy lifts going, right, okay, just a normal set, cool. Don't treat it like, say, a single arm cuffed lateral raise. You want to get a bit amped up for the set, a bit hyped for the set, right? But of course, main things being shifting those hips back. Imagine there's a wall right behind you and you're trying to touch that wall essentially with your glutes, right? So your main focus being glutes back to the wall behind you. You're keeping your core nice and braced. What you don't want to do is start at the top and go, and then sit there for a second or two and then go, right, okay, then into the movement. Straight away, you're going to like run out of breath by the time you reach rep 3 or 4, right? So what you want to do, on the way down, start coming down. Once you're about just 3/4 or about, well, a quarter of the way down, then deep breath into the stomach. So you're going into the stomach, engage your core, still pushing the hips back. Everything's nice and tight, nice and compact, nice and strong, essentially. You're in a solid base to then just drive through the hips, right? Now, of course, don't reach the bottom and just go when you're at the bottom. Because what will then happen is your upper back will just completely round, you'll have no stability whatsoever, and it will lead to you kind of hinging the rep rather than like, well, sorry, is it hinging or hinging? Rather than like kind of driving through the hips, you might kind of say get halfway, then just lose all stability and have to pure try and like thrust through the rep, which you don't obviously want to do. You want to stay nice and compact the entire time. So hips back, engage core, nice deep breath in, everything's tight, then driving through the hips and the way back up, right? Right, we are then on to T-bar row. Again, for me, a relatively heavy hitting movement for this session anyway. But again, what you see a lot of folk doing is literally doing this and try to curve their entire upper back to get a stretch at the bottom of the movement, right? Now, you don't actually have to do that to get a stretch. If you think about it, if your chest's on the pad, right, your main focus is scapular protraction and scapular retraction, right? The easiest way that I can describe it is imagine wrapping your delts around your chest. So your chest's on that pad, you're then coming down, wrapping the delts round the chest, and then dragging through the elbows, and again, retracting your scapula. At the back, you're then dragging, trying to pinch your shoulder blades together, essentially, okay? There's no need to come down like this and mega stretch right in front of you. You'll just lose all stability. And in most cases, when you get to the top of like this portion, when you're here, you then naturally want to go like this and lift your chest right up to get a shortened position, right? And when your chest lifts off that pad, tension is straight onto your lower back rather than as your actual upper back, right? So our main focus should be scapular protraction, wrapping the delts round the chest, and then pinching the shoulder blades together at the top of the rip. Don't need to come all the way back here. There's no point doing that. Just pinch the shoulder blades together, squeeze them in, and then back down, wrapping the delts around the chest. I don't want to see any of this pure like try to touch the floor with the bar, because trust me, it's not going to give you much benefit, okay? But after that, we then move on to our single arm lat row. So again, same sort of situation when it comes to the single arm lat pull down, right? So our main focus being dragging your elbow down into the hip, contracting hard, then full stretch out again. Again, what you see a lot of folk doing is like this whole thing and try to like stretch and touch the machine right in front of them. Don't have to do that. Keep your torso up nice and straight, right? On this machine, you'll basically see that my working foot is out straight in front of me, and my non-working foot is basically kind of bent and sort of like onto the foot pad, right? Use your non-working hand and essentially brace against that non-working knee, right? So you're creating a solid foundation, pushing hard into that knee. Your torso is then nice and tight, a solid sort of structure, right? So your main focus being stretch out in front of you, dragging that elbow down into the hip, then back to stretch, right? What you don't want to do is be leaning forward, backwards, get a lot of momentum in the movement. Look at the camera, going crazy, forward, backwards, momentum everywhere. We don't want that. We literally just want dragging it nice into the hip, forward, stretch, again, down into the hip. No point leaning forward and backwards, taking tension off the lat, onto your upper back, onto your biceps. Literally just leading from the elbow, down into the hip, stretch in front of you, repeat. Simple as that, okay? Right, we then move on to a cable upper back pull down. Now with these, what I like to do is basically lean back to roughly about a 70-degree angle, right? Now you're thinking about a relatively wide grip. You're wanting your elbows to come out wide. We're not looking for kind of down into a sort of lat pull down movement again, right? We've done plenty of lats, we've done single arm lat pull down, we've done single arm lat row. I'm not looking for much more lat here, right? So you'll notice I'm not coming all the way down and trying to bring the bar right to my chest. I'm literally coming from here, dragging the elbows down as far as I can, pretty much. But again, just a bit in line with my body, just behind my body. But I'm not aiming to get the bar right down here and have my elbows miles behind my body. It's not going to benefit me at all, right? So before you go, Aidan, why are you doing half reps? I'm not, I'm just targeting my upper back, right? So you're leaning back, roughly 70 degrees. Again, full stretch, but you're not aiming for a rounded back at the top of the stretch. We're just wanting to protract the scapula, drag down, retracting the scapula, not aiming to come all the way back here and taking tension off my upper back. But main focus being protracting, retracting, same as always. Any sort of upper back movement, you're looking for scapular protraction, scapular retraction. Don't need to do a major overly exaggerated stretch, just aim for roughly a decent wee stretch, wrapping the delts round the chest. It will create a decent enough stretch in your upper back anyway. The second that you start like leaning all the way over, you're just losing tension and we actually want to target and making it a little bit more hard to actually stabilise yourself throughout the entire set, right? So protraction, retraction, simple. Then we're into a movement that a lot of folk tend to skip, to be fair, like rear delt flies. Now it's quite awkward to sit up at times. if you're not used to it anyway. So what I want to basically do, what I personally do, is basically lean into the chest pad. So rather than kind of having, say, my chest touching the pad, my belly button touching the pad, and like my groin touching the pad, I'm not aiming for that, right? I'm basically having my bum basically scooch back a little bit and almost leaning forward into the pad, right? So essentially my upper chest touching that pad pretty much. So I'm leaning into the movement. Again, we're trying to bring up, we're basically, again, with every sort of back movement, you're leading with your elbow, right? It's simply put, you're leading with your elbow, okay? So we're thinking about dragging the elbows out to the corners of the room. We're not trying to bring the hands all the way behind the body. You'll see that a lot, right? Folk do this and their hands come all the way back behind their body and they're trying to purely like nose dive into the floor. Like, it's not going to help you much, right? You'll get a lot more trap and you get rear delt if your hands end up far behind your body, right? So think to lead with your elbows. You're going from here, bringing the elbows roughly to about there. Yeah, your hands might go straight, but you're not even to bring the hands behind the body. You want to basically end up with your hands roughly about here and have your elbows just behind your body, not your hands all the way back here, right? So leading with the elbows, dragging the elbows out to the corner of the room, full stretch at the bottom, protracting the scapula, and then dragging through the elbows again. So I then finished the session off with a little kind of update on my back. So this was obviously on Wednesday. I think I was roughly about 81.7 kg here. I've seen 81.35 since then. This morning I was in fact 82.2, back up again, but that was from a pretty brutal leg session yesterday. This was the back visuals on Wednesday. I'm feeling relatively good from the rear. Now, my rear is holding a lot of body fat compared to my front, right? So my kind of main priority, for me anyway, I want to have peeled glutes. I want to have really lean glutes, but at the same time, obviously it's hard to achieve that. I need to be extremely lean to achieve that. But I'll get there. We'll still get 8 weeks to go, but that was the kind of whole pull session, how I've kind of progressed my back over the past year and a bit anyway. But for sure, it's definitely grown a hell of a lot from where it was, because trust me, if you've looked at the photos at the start of the video, my back was not good at all. It was absolutely, honestly, it was horrific. My back was horrific, right? It was not good in any way, shape or form. So it's definitely grown, as you can see in the posing clips as well. But that was the whole pull session, kind of wee cues and tips here to help you along your own pull sessions. If you get any questions or anything like that at all, let me know in the comment section, fire me a DM, whatever you like to do. But apart from that, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.